back to say, this is, wow, look at what we have accomplished for this year. So then we end up here, presenting just that, what's working, what's not, what do we see based on the voices of the teachers, changes that we need to make, what have we done this year, what's been successful, and where are we going to go, looking over a 5-year plan. So we look both for next year as well as long term. And we do use the 4 dots, your goals, as a guiding force as well in the business and choice of better meeting. You want to add anything else?
No, I thought it was a great job.
Okay. So with that, I will give you where middle school is at. So looking back over this past year, I kind of looked at our list and I went, because I always get to this point, I didn't get this and I didn't do that. But I look back and I go, wow, we have had a really, really busy year in middle school. First and foremost, we had an absolutely amazing trip to DC, taking 60 of our 8th graders down to DC. It was an awesome trip. Of course, and a lot of planning went into it, and of course, we always go in with a little bit of apprehension. Oh my gosh, what's going to happen? It went flawlessly. So it was a great trip, and we've already begun planning for next year's trip by reflecting on this year's trip. We have, of course, we're continuously upgrading our technology. We have been able to purchase carts for 6th grade, 7th grade. Mike Bringley, who's in science, has also received his own cart as well, which is great because he does use it quite a bit. And there's been this juggling as we begin to increase the use of technology in classrooms for the carts. So we look to continuously upgrade that, as well as the iPads for the art department. So Dana purchased 10 of them, and I purchased the other 10 out of the municipal budget. So again, those will be used for developing portfolios as well, which will be really great. As far as science is concerned, as you all know, we did the 6th, 7th with Mike Bringley this year. It's worked out beautifully. It's great to see the 6th graders have a continuity in curriculum, to be excited about science. And he finished the year with them, we still have a couple weeks, but finished the year with the 6th, 7th science fair this year, June 1st, which went off really, really well. And the kids were very, very excited, and the projects were awesome. We have a lot of activities that we've started at the middle school. We have a new running club that is new this year. We also have a book club that's new this year. For next year, Thea Maruzi is looking to add a mountain biking in the fall, a mountain biking club for the middle school. What's great about both the running club and the book club, it's not just open to, even though it's a 7th grade teacher that's running it, it's not just open to 7th grade, it's open to all middle schoolers, which, as you all know, is great for our 6th graders who don't have a lot of options as far as sports is concerned. We have, as far as discipline is concerned, we have reduced our discipline. In-school suspensions, we've had 4 this year at middle school. That's it. We've had no out-of-school suspensions. So we've gone from 12 to 4. We are continuing to take a look at our culture in the middle school to say, how can we change it? How can we improve it? How can we make it a community that is both kind, full of compassion, and tolerance? So with that, we had Tom Bull came in this year. He's the gentleman that worked with our athletic team, and he spoke with both actually all of the grades, the 6th and 7th, and then he did a separate assembly for the 8th grade. Because we started a new program, our new initiative, I should say, in middle school. We're doing a soft roll right now. It's called the LPCSD. It's the Lake Plastic Connections for Change, Positively Changing Our Future. This is a completely student-run initiative, and there are what we call 12 principles. Those principles will be the guiding forces just to make sure that the work gets done from the collective voices of the entire middle school or anybody who wants to be a part of this club. So they're starting a soft rollout, and what I mean by that is they're just doing Motivating Monday. So they've done things like quotes every morning that are being read over the announcements or read on the announcements, and the teachers take just a couple of minutes to say, what does that mean? What does this announcement mean? Or what does this quote mean? They've done sticky notes, positive with positive sayings all over kids' lockers. They've done a pay it forward card where it's a smile and they hand it to somebody and that person smiles and then they have to hand it off to somebody else. So those have been our last 3 Mondays. So again, as I said, it's just a soft rollout. Come September, they are going to do a middle school assembly kickoff in the beginning, and the kids will be presenting it At some point in the fall, they would like to come and present to you exactly what their ideas are, and then we'll have an LPCC week of activities that the kids will design, and they will come up with all of that with 3 mentors that are working on that with them. We have, of course, our district-wide food backpack program, and I look back and I'm like, wow, a year. It's just been 1 year that we've actually started this initiative. We are currently servicing 45 students between the middle school and the elementary school. And we are looking to that will be increased next year. So we're anticipating about 60 for next year. So we're beginning the fundraising for that, going out, reaching out to the communities. We do have some money that are left over that we'll be able to roll over for next year. We still maintain our regular food pantry as well, so that kids who come in might need a meal here or there. They certainly have access to that. But we've had kids come into the office and say to Mrs. Mayberry, thank you, thank you for the food, and or looking for more. So it's a great initiative, but it's, as I said, it's hard to believe that it's a year. Today we had a math consultant come in. It was great. He came in yesterday and came in today, and it was funded through the LAP grant that we have. And it was really cool to have the middle school and high school math teachers in one space, in one room, talking, having conversations centered around math. So we're looking to continue that process as well. We also started to develop a student improvement plan at the middle school. And what the student improvement plan is, that a student who is failing a subject goes and meets with Mrs. Gosling, and we have a series of questions that have been designed, one for the 8th grade, one for the 7th grade. So they'll go with Mrs. Gosling and they'll process what might be getting in their way of their success. And so they have their driving questions, and then they come and meet with the team to further that conversation with the team of teachers. And we've only done 2 at the 7th grade. We've done quite a few at the 8th grade. And in some instances, most instances, it has had some impact. So we're looking to continue to do that. So that's just a little bit of an overview. I've not covered everything, so it's been a busy year. As far as our proposed changes for next year, changing the name of Alt Ed. Alt Ed has a stigma attached with it. So we can't just go without a name. I don't feel like, because the kids will still call it Alt Ed. So it's kind of like what we did with the RTI. We changed it to learning class. We did the progress up this year. As I said earlier, opening the school year with the middle school and shifting the culture of the middle school from being kind, compassionate, and tolerant. Of course, always on our list on both Dana and I is always getting Gmail up and running for us and migrating both the LPCSD.org and our Gmail. Expand our expedition week. We are doing next week. We get into expedition at the middle school really for 6th and 7th grade. The 8th grade does have some of it, but expanding that so that it extends beyond just a 1-week period. Because it is a lot of work for 1 week, and we'd like to be able to expand it because the feedback last year was phenomenal from the kids on that. And then, of course, what is great, Dana and Emily got together and we're going to be offering music lessons for our students over the summer, which will be great in helping to close that achievement gap. Our school-wide changes for the 17th, 18th is always, of course, first and foremost on our list is taking a look at our schedule and how we can always improve that. Creating a charging docket place in the cafeteria for kids to charge their phones at lunchtime. Very often they're bringing them up to the office and trying to charge them up there. And, at some point, we can battle it as much as we want, but it really is most of their third arms. So to embrace it and to teach them how to use them properly. It really needs to be what the goal is, so to develop that. As well as eventually 5-year would be to change the format of the cafeteria so that it's not long rectangular tables, that we have round tables that are there, which is foster conversation, etc. 5 years too, again, a lot of this stuff is just a carryover. Makerspace is on there. We did do a renovation of the library, continuing to focus on STEAM initiatives, and of course, always communication. So that's it in a sort of a nutshell of what some of the highlights are of what we've done this year.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
there any questions?
No, the discipline part is really great.
Yeah.
And I know that there was a report, that came out, I don't know how long ago it came out, I finally read it, that was a new approach on discipline, and it was really, the report itself was really great, and then just recently there was an NPR story talking about the different, approach, and I think a lot of what the report was saying is what I've seen a huge change, because my older two children in middle school had a much different experience, and a lot of it was around a focus on discipline or control, teach discipline, and so the change for me has been super positive, and so those reports recently, and I was a little curious about the numbers, so when I saw that, that's just, that really speaks to, and I love to be kind.
Well, you're really attacking the culture. You're speaking the culture, and this is how we behave.
Right.
And it's student leadership. So it's really coming from the students too, which I think is wonderful.
Yeah, our first meeting with that, we had the 12 principals, and I explained to them that it was sort of like the way a school runs, that there is a principal who just needs to make sure that everything gets done. I don't make all the decisions. I just need to make sure that if a decision is made, it gets carried through. That's what your job is, but everybody has a voice in this. And we had 25 kids showed up to that first meeting, and some brutally honest and open conversations happened in it. So it was really cool to see. Really, and that those principles are really a cross section, both socioeconomically, peer group, sexual orientation, gender. It really covers it all, which is nice. It's a nice message.
And I just wanted to add, with regard to the DC trip, as I shared with the board, I was fortunate enough to be able to go, and I was overwhelmed with the dynamic between the leaders, the administrators, the instructors, and the students. And it was it was symbiotic, I think is probably the best word. The ridiculously long hours each day, and Dan, I think you would be able to support that.
Yeah, it was right by our side at midnight.
And the teachers seemed inexhaustible. And they were happy. Every morning they were, just happy to be there. And for every student, they were just, especially for those who never had an opportunity to travel. You just saw the difference from the beginning when they showed up to when they were heading home. And a lot of them didn't want to go home. There was one in particular, he said, please,
yeah,
let me stay.
He did. He said, can I stay? Can I stay?
Yeah.
And I think for him, he's a very high energy student, and I think he finally found a place that actually matches his energy level. I'm not. Oh, really? This is awesome.
Now, I mean, between Mexico, Utah, and DC, I think DC won for my vacation. So thank you for that.
No, thank you.
And those are the kinds of things that will stay with the kids forever. They never lose that. Great. All right. Well, on that note, we'll move on to the elementary school.
The process we use at the elementary school is, of course, the same as what we're using in the high school and the middle school. It's the process that I got to know last year, and found that it did work very nicely. Meeting with all of the teachers, all of the teaching assistants, and just compiling all the information, and then weeding through it as we go through. Some of the positive things that have occurred this year, some of our successes, as our iPad initiative and in-classroom technology has really grown. We had third grade kind of pilot a one-on-one system. That's even grown further. Patricia Damp had some grant money given to her so she could incorporate Chromebooks in the classroom as well. Fourth grade is expanding upon it and getting more of the technology, the iPads in that classroom, as well as it trickling through the other grades as well. So that's really increasing, and as we know, the technology is not going anywhere, so we need to be able to make our students accessible and ready to use that technology. So we're using it more in all subject areas, whether it be a writing assignment in ELA, whether it be computation education in math or even in art class and design. So we're using it all over. We also had success with our disciplinary process. Our expectations and our consequences have been very even over the past couple of years. The students know exactly what to expect. Those rules have been very clear, as well as focusing on that positive behavior. We still follow the TBIS model, but what we're doing is instead of using it as a punitive measure, saying we didn't reach our goal this month, what we're doing is we're taking time to acknowledge the students that did meet the goal. So, for example, 1 month might have been random acts of kindness, and if a student experiences a random act of kindness, they would come to the office, they would grab a paper apple, they would write down what had happened to them, who had done it for them. Susie Smith picked up my backpack when I dropped it on the bus, give it to us, and in the morning I would read those random acts of kindnesses, and then we put them up outside the office wall and make some sort of picture on it. We had a tree 1 year, 1 month, we had a snowman 1 month, so various different things of doing that. So focusing on the great examples that we do have instead of course, we do have our moments where we have to look at the negative ones, but instead of focusing on that and making that the attention getter, making those positive actions the attention getter instead. Parent drop-off and pick-up system has been successfully implemented. It's been smooth sailing, and we did also another little change this year as far as the drop-off. We're having the students dropped off in a very particular place. It used to be the parents would drop them off in the upper parking lot. They would be going between cars. They would be going through buses. So we have a very designated drop-off area, which has an adult that's there to greet the students. So not only is myself and most of the times Roger greeting students coming off the bus, but we also have somebody that's greeting the students outside of the drop-off area. So our idea is that no student should ever cross a walkway, a driveway, or a parking lot unsupervised. So that's been very successfully implemented as well. Along with other things, our master schedule has included daily and weekly team meetings. There's time scheduled in so that all grade level members have time to meet daily. There's 1 day a week that's scheduled that's supposed to be a team meeting, in which case, for example, first grade meets as a team on day 1. If I need to talk to first grade, I know that day 1 is when I'm having their team meeting. So that's worked into that schedule. So there's no longer that trying to find time to talk and collaborate with each other. That's worked right into that schedule for them. We've also been working on our tailored learning spaces. We are working on alternative seating arrangements. The hokey stools have been used. We have alternative table heights and lengths. We have alternative some students prefer the ball, physio ball, that works better with them, foam structures. So we just are having our learning spaces meeting more of the needs of our students. We're working with our occupational therapists to get suggestions for how a particular student may better learn, and we're finding more success with that. Our departmentalization continues to grow strong in our 4th and 5th grade. As you know, those are divided up into 3 teachers each, so the students are rotating through with a nice introduction for what they're going to see in the middle school when they're going to have 9 classes that they're rotating through. So it really gives them an introduction to that, and it makes that gap a little less scary for them, and it allows our teachers to really specialize in one subject area. In addition to that, a stronger education consultant model is being used. We've always had a grade level special education teacher that would consult, whether it be direct or indirect consultation with the general education teachers, but we're seeing more of that consultant being pushed in rather than taking our special education students out for the instruction. So you'll see more inclusive classroom in your math and your ELA. You'll see those students in there. So that's just an example of some of the many successes that we have had, and I do say many. I feel like we have had a lot of successes this year, and it's been exciting to look at our future planning goals that we had last year and implement them this year and see which ones had actually worked and have been very successful, and seeing the staff's feelings about it as well, that they feel that they've been successful. Our goals for next year, I took through and I tried to shorten and consolidate them as much as we could and make them something that was very reachable. One of the main ones is incorporating math into our RTI program. Right now we have an excellent reading RTI program, which is every student that needs that extra support 5 days a week has 40 minutes outside with a reading specialist and the RTI teaching assistants who work under that specialist. So they're getting that extra help. However, we haven't been able to have a math RTI program in place. So although we can't have a math specialist on staff, what we're going to look at doing next year is having odd days, for example, be reading RTI, even days being math RTI, so the students will be getting both of those. The 40 minutes is above what the state requires, so we're still good with that as far as our minutes that we are meeting, but that way allowing our math students that are struggling a little bit more attention with that. And that would be a very fluid program. So for example, if second grade is working with two-digit addition, and one student A is struggling through that, however, they get the basic geometry that they do in another unit, they wouldn't need RTI that unit. So it would be in and out depending on the student needs, with our constant reevaluation assessment and teacher support as far as who would be required to go in there and who wouldn't. So we're really working on implementing that for next year. One of our successes that we had this year works into one of our goals for next year. This year we used a new system for kindergarten registration, which was called, it's an assessment tool called the Dial 4. This has come to us through Thrive, an organization that's North Country, throughout the North Country, and this is an assessment that most of the North Country is using, so it's standardized amongst the students more than the one that we had before, which was in-house created. So this is a standardized assessment, so we can really look at the students and see what their strengths and weaknesses are, and then work with the kindergarten staff to work on those throughout the year. As part of that, last year what we discovered was we had the kindergarten students in school, we had our kindergarten teachers working with the assessments, trying to meet the parents and the families and have that opportunity for that first interaction. However, there was a lot of distractions by having the kindergarten students in the school. A lot of demands were pulled on them. The students wanted to know why their teacher was in the building but not with them, different things like that. So they were really pulled in both directions. So this year, and we prepped our future kindergarten students last year. This year what we did is we did not have kindergarten those 2 days. We had the students stay home those 2 days, which allowed us to use the kindergarten suites and classrooms as our room for testing, so that provided less displacement of the rest of the students. And each parent met with the kindergarten staff and saw the kindergarten rooms and got tours of the building by the kindergarten teachers while the rest of us were doing the various assessments. So it really freed that up and gave them, I think, a much better picture and a much better start to being part of the LPCSD family and knowing that we really are there and want to make the individual contact with each student and get to know that family. So I think that really helped. We saw a lot of success out of that, a lot of positive feedback from both the parents, last year's parents and this year's parents, and the staff as well. Another one of our goals is an emphasis on early intervention, which is kind of coupled along with our consultative model. We are working for next year, I will talk about both of them at the same time, next year having more of having that special education teacher in the math and the ELA classroom co-teaching with the general education teacher, which means that they will take, there's a variety of different ways to do co-teaching, but more of an equal role in that classroom. So considering the general education teacher as the curriculum expert and taking that special education teacher and having them be the strategies expert. So we all know that the old book and pencil doesn't work for every student. That's where that special education expert will be able to come in and have different strategies. And having those two folks in the classroom at the same time. It hasn't involved any additional hiring, but once again, it's allowing our students to be in the general education setting with their peers. So not feeling that they are excluded or not part of the class. In that, we're looking, as I said before, at the kindergarten level. And the kindergarten level, as we know, the students are coming in fresh. We are also including in some of the other classes, our occupational therapists will be in the classroom, our physical therapists in the classroom, our learning specialists, speech will be occurring in the classroom, and reading specialists will be in there at different times during the week and during the day. So we all know that it's not just those that are identified with IEPs that could benefit from, for example, occupational therapy. So the occupational therapist will be going into the kindergarten classroom to work with the class in general on skills. This is something new that we're trying, that we were looking at piloting with some of the feedback, again, that we have gotten over the years and looking at some of the data so that we can really focus all of these different skills on the class as a whole and not just a few selected students. So that's part of our co-teaching model that we're going to be doing. And then another goal that we have is looking at those teaching assistants that we have. As I said, we want to incorporate that RTI program for math and looking at our teaching assistants and see if we can dedicate a handful of teaching assistants solely to do RTI work. It's my understanding it used to be that way at one point in time, but the demands in the classroom have pulled them into that classroom, so they haven't been able to focus on the RTI. So, in fact, today, those group of students, as well as Laura Coffin, our reading specialist, were at a workshop here in town on RTI and how to better implement it in the schools. So we're getting them the training so that they can really focus on that. And it still allows us to have the support in the classroom when needed, of course, but having them really be the experts on that and working on those students that are struggling. And then our final goal was working on that technology. We're looking at getting smart boards, which are interactive, a notebook software, which is something that a number of our staff have come from other districts using. It's very interactive with the students. The nice thing about it is you can do an entire lesson and then save it, and if a student is absent, either give them a paper copy or a digital copy of the lesson and all of the work that was done in the class, the conversations that were done in the class. We're looking for using more one-on-one iPads, more Chromebooks, more technology in the classroom overall, which included, this year we expanded, we put a makerspace into our library, which allowed for some robotics and some simple programming and things like that, so that a student, again, with that individualized learning, if the student is done with the activity in their homeroom, perhaps the teacher has allowed it an additional 20 minutes, that student is done early, they can go down to the library, to the makerspace area, work on whichever bucket or project that they'd like to do, whether it's circuits, whether it's robotics, whether it's something simple as following directions for origami. But the students can really look at what it is that interests them and really expand on it. We've had a couple of students that have really, really grown with this. I was attending a meeting yesterday where the father of the student was telling me that this student came home telling them about this whole circuit that they had done and the way that they had controlled the light around the circuit. Something that they simply, it's student driven, nobody instructs them, they're just given a bucket full of supplies and saying, go at it and have fun. And the student was so excited about this prospect, and of course now we're talking about him becoming an engineer in the future. So that's our 1-year goal. I only indicated one goal over the next 5 years because I think the growth of all of these programs is going to take time and is going to have a momentum of its own. But again, emphasizing that idea of something our staff is really looking at, is having general education teaching assistants at a grade level, one per grade level, and in addition to the RTI ones that we have that can specialize in that area. So that's something that our staff would really like to look at in the future to really help strengthen that math RTI that we are currently lacking. Thank you.
Thank you. I have one question. It's sort of related. With your focus on the kindergarten, have you seen a difference in the preparation of kindergartners coming in since the 4-year program?
Yes, we have. Yes, we have. And it's a question that we talk about every year, and it's a question that's been answered by the kindergarten teachers. Subjectively they can say yes, but now that we're using the Style 4, we can see measurable results as well, which is really neat. It's a great assessment tool. It divides it up by the motor skills, the language skills, and social skills, those different things, and we are definitely seeing growth in it. We're definitely seeing a difference. And we can even pinpoint, because of the questions that are asked, the students that are attending currently preschool versus those that aren't, whether it's St. Agnes, which is, of course, under our umbrella, or whether it's a different preschool, even so much as what pediatricians are used.
Good. Thank you. Thanks so much. This is really great. This is one of my favorite reports, to hear what's happened and where we're going. Okay.
If you ever get a chance, if you were at the elementary school at 8:25 when the announcements go off, listening to those random acts of kindness, it's really a heartwarming few minutes of what kids have done that they've been noticed for. So.
And then I always let the kids at the end of the month, if you want to grab your random act of kindness or whatever positive praise, please take it off the wall, take it home.
Nice. All right. We'll move on to our next. Thank you. I think you're welcome to stay. It's going to be a long meeting. No. It's almost next. Next if you want. We're going to do the policy first.
We can just do the policy really quickly.
Yeah. first one is the 0115 student bullying prevention and intervention policy. We reviewed that, at a previous meeting, and I think we just made one little change. We put such, in the second paragraph, that phrase such as cyberbullying in parentheses, and because we made that little change, we had to bring it back for a first read. So are there any questions or any comments? Any other changes people saw in that one?
My only comment is external to policy, and based on our conversation earlier, is to review the regulatory attachment with it. I know we have no real approval over that, but looking at it, making sure that it reflects what we discussed. Thank you.
The next one is 4851, live animals in school.
So this was a policy that we didn't have to have, but we thought would be maybe a value in the district, because we seem to have a number of four-legged friends joining us on a regular basis in both schools. And so at the policy committee, did a little research and came up with some, possibilities in terms of language, and we developed this rather short policy. And so it's a good thing when it comes to policies, short and sweet. It essentially recognizes that there's value in having live animals in school, but that we should just be cognizant of a process involved in ensuring that the rationale for having animals in school is a positive one. The principal would be in charge of approving, is in charge of approving those animals in school, and that we're recognizing that there are some health concerns that we should be paying attention to, like allergies and other issues around that.
I love going in and telling the dogs around. It's a nice touch. Were there any questions about that? Right. The final policy is policy 5405, student wellness. And there were quite a few changes in this. Do you want to go through this one?
Yeah, a number of the changes
idea?
come out of law and regulation that, so we're responding a lot of times we're choosing policies that are being recommended for change because they're now out of date based on, federal and state guidelines. So a number of these changes reflect those. And there are things like defining what the school day is. Is the school day from, through the basketball game and the concession stand, or is it just till 2:45? And the answer is till 2:45. Those kinds of things.
And I will say that this particular policy over the past year and a half has come to the policy committee several times because of recommended changes from NISBA, the New York State School Board Association, where they said, oh, you probably want to take a look at this because these are some changes coming, and they gave suggestions on how we would change it, but none of those decisions have been finalized. So we kind of have held, looked it over and at sometimes reviewed it, but we hadn't brought it to first read until they really kind of landed on what their wording, and they changed it. They undid some of the language that was originally sent to us. So we're hopeful that this will stay around for at least 6 months.
Well, actually, on that note, just in case, I'm hoping we get to vote on it next meeting, because it's my last meeting, but with the new potential federal changes with regard to school lunches, I hope we set our bar consistently above whatever may be coming down the neck. I just want to get that out there.
Right.
We don't want to go back. We don't want to go backwards with that.
I agree, and I found it's so difficult to read this policy because of all the changes in the black and the red and the lines, and so when this goes to the second, then it will be much cleaner looking, and you're able to read through it. The changes that they finally landed on seem like very positive changes.
This is very positive.
So we were really happy. There was some stuff in the middle that I
we'll move on to the superintendent's report.
So those first reads will then become second reads up for vote at the next board meeting. So my superintendent's report starts with an award, a recognition to one of our board members, one of those who happens to be present today. This is a recognition to Richard Preston. We should put Dr. Richard Preston on this, yes. For participating in the School Board Association Leadership Development Opportunities totaling 150 points. In other words, Rick's been taking advantage of a number of professional development opportunities through the School Board Association because he's not busy enough in life. And we really appreciate all the effort and energy you put into this school board. It's immense between the things that you have to do as a board member, like 10 meetings, to the things that you volunteer to do, like being a part of the negotiating committees, to things that you choose to do, like attending, legal meetings on school law and other aspects. It's really impressive. So,
Thank you.
So we are approaching Regents Week, and it has me thinking about one of the board goals, which is to continue to monitor our some of the academic achievement data that we have, including exam scores, and to do comparisons with state and regional scores. Every year I provide you with updates on Regents exams and how we do. I usually do it in the summertime, pretty soon after those exam scores come in. Problem is we don't have comparison data. So I thought before we get to the 2017 Regents exams, I should probably provide you with the information on the 2016 Regents exams that actually has some comparative data. So, what we're going to look at here is really just 4 exams, and we could look at more, except these are the only 4 that we can actually gain state level data from. In other words, the other ones that the state, for whatever reason, makes it very difficult to know how students across the state do in the U.S. history regions or one of the other exams. But they have provided us with information on how students across the state score on the 4 new Common Core Regents exams. So we're going to look at those. And this is kind of hard to see, but basically what this is these are results of every school district in our regions, the FEH BOCES region. Can you go up a little higher? Yeah, thanks. And over here is Lake Placid, and just to give you a quick overview, this is divided up into 5 categories: level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with blue being the level 5, and this other blue, I guess lighter blue, being level 1. Those first 3 bars, blue, orange, and gray, those are all passing scores on these exams. And obviously the blue is the highest, the yellow is the second level, and the gray at the bottom end is the equivalent of what a kid would see on their exam as being a 65. These 2 categories are not passing categories, one being closer to passing and it's at 55 to 65 level, the other one below that. So this first set of scores is on the English Language Arts Regents exam, and I'm going to try not to get into great detail because there's a lot of school districts here, but these are the Lake Placid scores. These are New York State scores overall, a summary of New York State scores. And then over here, FEH BOCES, that is a compilation of all of the districts in our BOCES region. And so the quick summary here is that in the English language arts area, we did very well, not just in general, as I reported to you last year, but also compared to state and regional averages. And I've got a little summary of that later. So I'm just going to try to walk through this quickly. And if you want to see any in greater detail, it's all available online. So if you go to the next slide, Karen. The next one is the Algebra 1 regions. And again, it's very hard to know how you're doing when we get these 4 reports out. It's even hard sometimes with the way the scores are tabulated and the scoring charts. It's really even hard to know what sometimes the numbers mean. So the comparisons can be helpful. And once again, here we are in Lake Placid. Here's New York State, and here's the region. So, you know, last year when only 18% of our students scored at the very highest, we were a little concerned about that. And that probably was reflected in some of the reporting that I provided to you. But if you look at that compared to, say, New York State, Lake Placid, 18% of our students scored at the very highest level. New York State, it was 13%, and FEH BOCES region was 9%. So when you look at it comparatively, you can see how we're doing in relation to others. And then if you look at those two bottom bars, that's 13% total where students did not pass at Algebra 1 regions. Again, it was hard for us to know whether that was, you know, high, average, or low. And if you look at least compared to state and region, that's actually a low number. If you want to go to the next one, Karen. Our geometry region scores in this comparison of the four comparatively are probably lower than the other three, and that has not been a consistent trend. Matter of fact, our geometry scores have been pretty solid throughout the last number of years, but they did dip last year, and sometimes that happens. We also saw that with the global history regions exam scores, and we also saw it with the chemistry regions exam scores, and as you know, we've had years where those were, you know, right at the top, so that does happen. But again, so here's Lake Placid. The greatest number of students are in this middle category, which is passing, but a lower passing number. And you can see how that compares to other districts. New York State is over here, and FEH BOCES is over here. And I'll share with you how that compares in a second. If you just go to Algebra 2, Karen. So then on to the Algebra 2 Regents exam. And here's Lake Placid with so 14% scoring at the very highest, 32% scoring also in the mid-range in passing, and then 41% sort of in that squeaking by range. That's most of the students. As a matter of fact, it's only 14% that didn't pass that exam, and that is, as you all know, is a challenging course and a challenging exam. Again, when we reported those scores to you last year, I did not know how that would compare to state and regional averages. If you look over here in New York State, statewide 26% of the students who took that exam did not pass it, and FEH BOCES, also 26% of the students who took that exam did not pass it, as compared to the 14% in Lake Placid. And then you can do the comparisons on the upper end as well. Our bluest bar here is also higher than the regional and the state average, as well as many of the other school districts. So comparatively speaking, we did well in Algebra 2 last year. So if you go to the next slide, so just to do a quick summary, again, the question that our board goals raise is how do we do in specific areas compared to state and regional averages. Last year, we exceeded both in English, we exceeded both in Algebra 1. In geometry, we essentially met the New York State average. We were at the same level, we equaled it. And the FEHB average was a little bit higher than us in geometry last year, but in Algebra 2, we exceeded it as well. So I'm providing you that 1 week before the 17 exams begin, so maybe that's, you know, a little anticipation. We probably won't have these kinds of results again until at least the middle of next year, so you know, the averages come slowly. We know how we do, but we don't always know how others do. But maybe that will give you a sense as I report the scores for 2017 of what that might mean, and then we'll have to wait for the actual sprint. So any question about the Regents exam scores?
Thank you.
Great. Then let me go on with the superintendent's report. So we are 2.5 weeks away from graduation. Did you hear what I said? 2.5 weeks away from graduation. It's hard to believe. So between now and then, there's a lot going on, and I thought I would mention some of it. So if you start with a couple of days ago, right? So Sunday and Monday of this week, we had a state golf tournament, and 3 of our golfers, Bjorn Cruz, Ryan Kane, and Drew America, competed. They did well. They just returned today to school, so congratulations to them. In boys track and field, our 4x800 relay team won the TVAC meet, and so they are moving on to the state competition. So congratulations to them, and best of luck. They'll be in Binghamton next weekend. So this will mark the end of the athletic season with both of these groups of students going on to state level competition. And that team, by the way, that relay team, it's a top-notch relay team: Henry Woodruff, Trent White, Scott Schultz, and Stuart Baird. So we're finishing up our athletic season. But also this weekend, our senior model Organization of American States class, they were in Plattsburgh, here at Plattsburgh State. This is the concluding experience of this course, Model OAS course. It's a terrific course. It's a terrific experience. Our students come back changed. As far as what I can tell, the initial reports from the crew that was there is this year's no exception. It's been a wonderful experience. So meanwhile, we have a bunch of other things. You heard some of this from Teresa Lindsay. Our middle school grade level teams are preparing for their end of year expeditions. This is essentially a project-based learning experience that takes up the whole last week of school. Thursday morning, our middle school students are going to be celebrating their honors breakfast, and this, of course, recognizes students who have been successful all year long. On Friday morning, our high school students are going to be celebrating the last day of traditional classes with starting the day with the awards ceremony, the academic awards ceremony. On Friday, also, the sixth grade will be celebrating the end of their year with a trip to the fish hatchery and then an outing to Fish Creek. And then at the elementary school on Saturday, our friends, our parent group will be hosting the annual elementary spring carnival. So come one, come all to the carnival on Saturday. And then, because the week doesn't end on Friday, right? On Saturday, it's the carnival, and on Sunday is the academic awards banquet honoring our top graduates, along with top graduates from other regional schools. And I know some others in this room will be attending that. So that should be very exciting. So that's this week. Next week is a big week, of course. High school students will be taking their final exams and their Regents exams, as I mentioned before. Our middle school students will be doing their expeditionary learning experiences. Our seniors will be presenting their senior projects. Also next Monday, the celebrations begin, or at least continue, at around the Education Center awards their graduates from our BOCES programs, and that will be Monday with two ceremonies, including the New Vision ceremony. We have our AP orientation night in the evening on Monday, which means we're getting ready for AP classes for next year. At the elementary school, there are going to be a number of end-of-year field trips. And then on Tuesday, there's going to be the book shopping day, which I know I've described to you in the past. And it's a very exciting thing where we fill up the library with books, and kids are invited to fill up a bag and bring them home as their own. To bring in. This is Laura Coffin's tremendous effort at the elementary school to really promote reading as a lifelong effort. And then Wednesday is the band concert for the elementary school. Next Friday is going to be the last day of classes for the middle school, and there will be an award ceremony during the day, and then 8th grade celebration on Friday night, and that's going to end the year for the middle school. So, but the elementary school continues on. That last week, June 19th, we begin that week with classes at the elementary school, but the kindergartners will be graduating that day. So that's kindergarten graduation, always a wonderful event. And then at the evening, the other side of that, the seniors will be celebrating scholarships, awards, technology and art projects, and senior project presentations that evening. Wednesday is the last day of school for the elementary school, and that will include a visit by our high school graduates in the cap and gown visit to the elementary school, where they walk through the building, and we connect the youngest kids with the oldest kids at their moment of being honored for completing high school. And then that's punctuated by 5th grade graduation, and that's the final ceremony at the elementary school. Celebrations continue on Wednesday night with the baccalaureate for seniors, and then, of course, Friday the 23rd is the big day, graduation day. So congratulations to the class of 2017. And that's everything.
Karen, will you send us that list again? Mm-hmm. Thank you. I know I'm sitting here teaching. I believe it. We're going to these things again already.
It happens fast.
It does. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
Good evening. So, information for the board, there's several things on there. One thing isn't on there that I'd like to add. I just got an email from Tom Dodd, who presented earlier, about a combined music tech project of fifth graders who went to, Proctor's to see Wicked, and then they did they're doing a program to, present careers in the theater to different grade levels, and that's tomorrow from 1 to 2, so we was inviting them to attend, stop by during that time. It's just a go in and take a look at the displays if you're around, so there's that. Another item on here was the senior project, which is kind of an update on the project that we already approved with the garden, and it's just adding a rinsing station and a shed, so there was that information. You might have questions on that.
I just noticed there are no girls in it, in, AP environmental, maybe just none taking place, none involved with this, I guess, I don't know,
In this project,
within this project. Do
that
you know if there are
project,
any girls in the
well, there's
AP
a
environmental?
picture of them.
There was, but now I can only picture
I'm
boards.
just curious.
No, it doesn't look like it. There's a picture here, and it doesn't look like them.
Well, the names are provided, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like.
Just curious.
Yeah. Then there was a notification that Wayne Rogers was appointed to the RSA board, so he's serving as our representative, our area representative to the Rural School Board Association board. Leonard listed the budget transfers. None of those require board action at this point.
Well, the ones at the bottom, the major ones, but we'll go approve those next.
Okay, next, yeah, the ones over 10,000.
Right.
So this is the advanced information on the budget transfers.
Right, thank you.
You'll be asked to act on them next week, on those few.
And then there's a notification from NISBA about their member appreciation reception that will be, June 28th from 6 to 8 at, the Wild Center. If you're interested in going, let Karen know, because she'll register us. And I plan to go, so if anybody wants to go, we can all ride together. And then the AIDS project, invitation, those are always interesting and fun to listen to. Those are Friday, June 9th, at the library, so if any of you are free, they're worth spending some time with. The other issue that's not on the board that I forgot on our agenda that I think I forgot to put on the last agenda too is connecting agenda items to our goals. And certainly, I think tonight we've had, the future planning presentations, there certainly can be connected to our education goal. I think the region scores, as Rogers pointed out, we have a goal of monitoring where our students are, identifying any problem areas. So those two items I saw.
You said education, what was the other one?
I think they're both education. Rogers report on the region scores.
I think the other one would also link to the technology, the presentation.
Yes.
Would link to the technology.
And I think it also, the future planning also, some of that links to putting the students first and foremost. I think when they talk about creating the positive culture for middle school, that goes with that. I think the co-teaching, where they're moving, occupational therapists, for example, into the classroom to work with all of the students, not just singling out a few. I mean, that, more than anything, I think will help bridge that opportunity gap. Really recognizes that all kids need them.
Right, the opportunity gap was
Yeah.
one that was mentioned a couple of times.
Right. So I think there was a lot of things very beneficial. All right. So any questions on any of that? Then moving on to the
Do you know the times of the NISBA reception?
yes, I have it 6 to 8.
Okay, thanks.
Um,
I'm interested.
the item I have is under the discussion is the consent agenda. It's something I think we talked about when I first came on the board, that maybe our organizational meeting, where it's just kind of some routine appointments, that it might be beneficial, might be helpful to adopt a consent agenda, but we can just deal with those in one swoop and not have to read through everything, and then that would give us time to really, if there are other issues that we need to deal with, look at those issues in more detail. So it makes better use of our time. So I don't know how you feel about that, but
I was gonna bring it up because I went to the Saranac Lake Board meeting and they used it, and I noticed that the last time I went to their meeting, I think it's a great idea.
so
It
there's
still gives the opportunity that if there's a concern, that, because you have to agree to it,
we have to agree to it.
and you just check to see if everyone looked it over, if they're comfortable with it.
Right.
Yeah, I think.
And you can, if anybody wants to remove something from it, they can remove something from it, and that would move into a discussion topic.
Yeah.
So, and I down at the bottom, there is the last one, is how does the board start using the consent agenda? It takes you through it step by step, and it gives you the little resolution that has to be approved. So if you like, I'll put that on as an action item. We can adopt this the next one, and we'll try it at our organization reorganization meeting.
So two of us are stepping off the board, since this is going to impact, the board moving forward. Is that something you'd want to wait for the first meeting in July, or?
Well, that's the reorganization.
That's the reorg, okay.
So, but
We'll speak for
the
everybody.
new board members are having an orientation tomorrow, 4:30, so this would certainly be.
I mean, I'm in full support of it. I think it makes a lot of sense, but I just
But if
want
somebody didn't want it, like at that meeting, you're able to say, we
Right.
don't wanna do this,
Right.
and we have to, then we'll just do it the other way.
Right. Yeah.
So it doesn't tie
Oh,
you
so
that
it's
you
a blanket
have
thing
to.
for that meeting, yeah. So somebody at the beginning of the meeting would say, I'd rather.
Every
not do
item,
this.
every item needs to be discussed.
Yeah, you have to agree to it.
Right.
You have to vote, like the board has to say that they're okay with the consent agenda.
So at the reorganizational meeting, there will be items that are listed as consent agenda.
Oh, yeah.
And the first question that will be asked is are there any items that board members wish to discuss and remove from this? And you can say, I think item C needs to be removed. I'd like to discuss this. And Tammy could say, I don't know, she won't, but Joe could say, I think we need to discuss item F. And, so we would take it off. And then everybody else, once we have that all squared away, then the consent agenda, everything else we just have that discussion. Okay, good. Like minds, great minds, think alike, right? All right. Good.
I didn't know what they had done, how did they do that? That's pretty impressive.
Okay. So, yes, it does. So, and for example, tonight, we could technically, if we were using the consent agenda, all of those different, if we didn't need to discuss these appointments, we could put those on the consent agenda and one vote.
So I say we vote on the consent agenda.
So I'm recommending at least starting with the reorganizational meeting and see how we like it, and if we like it, we can adapt it to some of the other needs. So let's go. Well, they've been busy here. This shows that. So we'll go to the action items. The first action item is minutes of the Board of Education. So the proposed resolution reads, be it resolved, the Board of Education, Lake Placid Central School District hereby accepts the minutes of the May 9th, 2017 Board of Ed meeting based upon information provided to the board and placed on file with the district clerk. Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Pat. Discussion, corrections? Are we going to vote?
We are voting.
Okay. Vote.
Karen put me in for yes, I just voted myself.
Okay, motion carries 5-4-0 against. Personnel matters, here we go. So, first one is a teaching staff tenure recommendation. The proposed action reads upon the recommendation of the superintendent, Jason Hubbard, who holds an initial students with disabilities, grades 1 through 6 certification, is hereby granted tenure in the area of special education effective on September 1st, 2017. Is there a motion to approve this recommendation? Ken, is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there discussion? Questions? Please vote. And motion carries 5-4-0 against. A second teaching staff tenure recommendation. The proposed recommendation reads upon the recommendation of the superintendent, Thea Maruzzi. Is that right? Thea Maruzzi, who holds a time extension initial elementary education certification, is hereby appointed to tenure in the elementary education tenure area effective September 1st, 2017. Is there a motion to approve this resolution? I'll move. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Discussion? Motion carries 5-4-0 against. Teaching staff retirement. And I'm sad about this one. I'm happy for Holly, but I'm sad for the reason. The proposed recommendation reads upon recommendation of the superintendent accept the retirement of Holly Hour, teaching assistant at the middle and high school effective June 30th, 2017. Is there a motion to approve this resolution? That's Rick. Is there a second? Second. Thanks, Tammy. Is there discussion? Just add one comment. Holly was a pleasure to work with. I worked with her for quite a few years, and she just brings the enthusiasm and the love of the kids that will be missed. It's your cold finger, Patty.
It's not coming up, but yes, I'm sorry.
Motion carries 5-4-0 again. Then teaching staff resignation. Proposed recommendation reads upon recommendation of the superintendent accept the resignation of Daniel Wybrecht, fourth grade teacher at the elementary school, effective June 30th, 2017. Is there a motion to approve this action?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a second? I'll second. Pat? Discussion? Please vote. And the motion carries 5-4-0 against. Next, we move into a non-teaching staff resignation. And this recommended action reads upon recommendation of the superintendent accept the resignation of Megan Brettschneider, teaching assistant in middle and high school effective June 30th, 2017. Is there a motion to approve this recommendation? Is there a second? Thanks.
Didn't come out, too.
No, thank you. I heard it. Are there any questions or comments? Please vote. Motion carries 5-4-0 against. Teaching staff maternity leave request. Again, the proposed action reads upon recommendation of the superintendent approve the maternity of Haley Fernandez, seventh grade math teacher, beginning on or about June 16th, 2017 through the end of the 2016-2017 school year. Is there a motion to approve this action?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a second? I'll second. Is there discussion? vote. Is she gonna make it? 2:60?
10 more days.
10 more days?
Yes.
Yes.
Mine isn't.
Mine isn't coming up.
Yeah, mine either.
But I'm a yes, so you give.
I'm a yes.
We're on.
I'm in.
Anybody not a yes? I guess even, okay, motion carries 5-0 again. And then we move to the other half, the teaching staff non-maternal parental leave request. So the proposed action reads upon recommendation, the superintendent approve the non-maternal parental leave request of John Clemente, fifth grade teacher, beginning on or about June 16th, 2017 through the end of the 2016-2017 school year. Is there a motion to approve this action? So moved. Second, Kim, yes.
I got booted off.
Is there a second? Thanks, Pat.
Who did the second?
Pat did. Discussion? Then all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed say no. Motion carries 5-0 again. And then, second maternity leave request. Somebody was saying there's something in the water. So I like it, right? I mean, our own little baby room, it's kind of nice. The proposed action reads upon recommendation of the superintendent, approve the maternity leave request of Heather Brewer, social studies teacher at the middle and high school, beginning September 1st, 2017 through February 4th, 2018. Is there a motion to approve this action?
Yes.
Thanks, Patty. Is there a second?
Oh, second.
Thanks, Rick. Thank you now.
I blasted that one.
Is there discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries 5-0 again. We have a teaching staff sick leave request. Recommended action reads upon recommendation of the superintendent, approve a sick leave request of Rebecca Fillion, art teacher at the elementary school, beginning May 22nd, 2017 through the end of the 2016-17 school year, or the birth of her baby, at which time maternity leave will begin. Is there a motion to approve this action? There is. Thanks, Kim. Is there a second?
Yes.
Thanks, Patty. Is there discussion? All in favor, oh, we can vote.
Vote again.
We can vote again.
I'm a yes. They're going to take care.
Motion carries 5-0 again. Now we get into, and I have to really congratulate everybody because it's end of the school year. You've got all of that, extra work going on and that kind of tension and.
It's been a busy month,
yeah,
and it's not just a busy month for me or even just for the principals. All of them have been busy, but we've had a number of people involved in the search teams and interview teams, and so thank you to everybody who's been involved in making these appointments happen and to appointing the very best candidates that we have.
Yeah. Great. So you all were involved in it. Thank you. Teaching staff appointment, the first one. The proposed action upon recommendation of the superintendent, appoint Kristen Boslett with supplemental certification in literacy, grades 5 through 12, to a .8 FTD alternative education teacher in the middle and high school, replacing Matthew Wallentuck. Salary is step 2, master's, plus 33 hours, salary of $44,720.
That changed.
Okay.
Sorry,
It was prorated.
right, I didn't do the FTE, the point, sorry.
35, okay, I'm sorry. So the salary is $35,781. The Lake Placid Education Association negotiated agreement July 1st, 2014 through June 30th, 2017. This service will not be credited for tenure. Is there a motion to approve this appointment?
Move.
Thanks, Rick. Is there a second? A second.
in kindergarten, 1 through 6.
That's right, but, that's the, because it's a secondary appointment, we included that specifically as the relevant one.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, thanks.
Karen, any other questions? Please vote. And motion carries 5-4-0 again. The next teaching staff appointment reads, upon recommendation of the superintendent, appoint Brianna Wild, pending initial certification in early childhood education, to the position of kindergarten teacher, replacing Lisa Leonidas, in the tenure area of elementary education for a probationary period of 4 years, commencing on September 1st, 2017, and ending on August 31st, 2021. Salary for the 2017-18 school year is step 1 with a master's in 25 hours at $42,203 of the LPEA negotiated agreement July 1st, 2014 through June 30th, 2017. Is there a motion to approve this appointment?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a second? Thanks, Rick. Is there discussion? Please vote. And motion carries 5-4-0 against. Another teaching staff appointment. The proposed action reads, upon recommendation of superintendent, appoint Amy Kramer, who is permanently certified to the position of 4th grade teacher, replacing Daniel Wybrecht in the tenure area of elementary education for a probationary period of 3 years, commencing September 1st, 2017, and ending on August 31st, 2019. Mrs. Kramer is credited with 1 year service as a long-term substitute. Salary for the 2017 school year is step 19 with a master's in 36 hours at $59,698 of the Lake Placid Education Association negotiated agreement July 1st, 2014 through June 30th, 2017. Is there a motion to approve this appointment? Thank you, Pat.
Yes.
Thanks, Pat. Is there a second? A second. Thanks, Tammy. Is there discussion, questions? Please vote. And motion carries 5-4-0 against. Next, teaching staff appointment. Proposed action reads, upon recommendation of the superintendent, appoint Gregory Fisher, who is permanently certified to the position of 4th grade teacher, replacing Suzanne Brewer in the tenure area of elementary education for a probationary period of 3 years, commencing September 1st, 2017, and ending August 31st, 2020. Salary for the 2017-18 school year is step 16 with a master's in 45 hours at $56,400 of the Lake Placid Education Association negotiated agreement July 1st, 2014 through June 30th, 2017. Is there a motion to approve this appointment? Tammy, is there a second?
I'll second.
Patty? Is there discussion? If not, please vote. Motion carries 5-4-0 against. And the final teaching staff appointment. Upon recommendation of the superintendent, appoint Alan Robinson, who is currently certified in art, to the position of art teacher in the high school, replacing Ann Rickard in the tenure area of art for a probationary period of 3 years, commencing on September 1st, 2017, and ending on August 31st, 2020. Salary for the 2017-18 school year is step 23 with a master's in 60 hours at $66,309 of the Lake Placid Education Association negotiated agreement July 1st, 2014 through June 30th, 2017. Is there a motion to approve this appointment?
Yes.
Second.
Thanks, Ray. Discussion? Not, please vote. And motion carries 5-4-0 against. Now we move into the non-teaching staff appointments. The first one, recommended action reads, upon recommendation of the superintendent, approve Sandra Ashley, a teaching assistant in the middle and high school, replacing Krista Boslett for a probationary period to commence when certification is obtained and anticipated to end 4 years from that date. Salary will be step 2, level 2, $23,989 of the Lake Placid Education Association negotiated agreement July 1st, 2014 through August 31st, 2017. Is there a motion to approve this appointment? Patty, is there a second? A second. Karen. Discussion? Vote. Motion carries 5-4-0 against. Second, non-teaching staff appointment. Proposed action reads, upon recommendation of superintendent, approve Emily McConvey, assistant in the Lake Placid Middle High School, replacing Megan Brett Schneider for a probationary period beginning September 1st, 2017, and anticipated to end 4 years from the date, August 31st, 2021. Salary will be step 2, level 3 at $24,502 of the Lake Placid Education Association negotiated agreement July 1st, 2014 through June 30th, 2017. Is there a motion to approve this appointment?
I'll move.
Pat? Thank you.
They sound the same over there.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Gail.
That was Pat again.
Pat 1, Pat 2. There's no discussion.
What is the position?
It's teaching assistant, I put the word teaching in there, I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
I should have done that. Good night. Thank you. And the motion carries 5-4-0. The next one is, upon recommendation, superintendent approve Alicia Flynn, teaching, I know that, she was a student, teaching assistant at the elementary school, replacing Debbie Preston for a probationary period beginning September 1st, 2017, and anticipated to end 4 years, August 31st, 2021. Salary will be step 2, level 1 at $23,476 of the Lake Placid Lake Placid Education Association negotiated agreement July 1st, 2014 through June 30th, 2017. Is there a motion to approve this appointment?
Oh,
Thanks, Richard. Is there a second?
Second.
Thanks, Tammy. There is no discussion. Please vote. Mine's not coming up.
There again.
there you
The motion carries 5-4-0 against. And there.
go. 2 more.
Okay. The next one, upon recommendation, superintendent approve Wendy Fox, teaching assistant in the elementary school, replacing Brianna Weil for a probationary period to commence when certification is obtained and anticipated to end 4 years from that date. Salary will be step 2, level 1 at $23,476 of the Lake Placid Education Association negotiated agreement July 1st, 2014 through June 30th, 2017. Is there a motion to approve this appointment? Move. Tammy, is there a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Pat. If there's no discussion, please vote.
I'm not getting it. Oh, maybe I lost my connection.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I did. Yes.
Okay, motion carries 5-4-0, again. And then the last, teaching staff appointment, last but not least. The proposed appointment reads upon recommendation of superintendent, appoint Kaylee Taylor as typist at the middle and high school, effective July 1st, 2017, for a 60-day probationary period ending August 30th, 2017, at a salary of $17.28 an hour, which is step 1 of the CSEA salary schedule for a typist for the 2017-2018 school year. Is there a motion to approve this appointment?
I'll move.
Thanks, Pat. Is there a second?
Second.
Thanks, Tammy. If there is no discussion, then please vote. Motion carries 5-4-0 against. Thank you. Now we have a few more action items. One is approving the budget results. So the proposed action reads, be it resolved, the Board of Education hereby adopts the following budget results for the 2017-2018 school year as shown on the attached sheet. Is there a motion to approve this resolution? I'll take Rick.
It's louder.
Tammy, do you want to be second?
I'll second.
Okay. Tammy second. Is there discussion? If not, let's please vote. Motion carries 5-4-0. The next one is approval of a statement in support of raising the minimum legal age for the sale of tobacco products. And this was to support the resolution that the FEHBOCES approved that we talked about a few weeks ago. So the resolution reads, whereas Franklin Essex Hamilton BOCES has issued and approved a statement in support of raising the minimum legal sale of tobacco products in the North Country to 21 years of age. Whereas Lake Placid Central School Board of Education is in support of this statement issued by Franklin Essex Hamilton BOCES. Now therefore, Lake Placid Central School Board of Education supports the Franklin Essex Hamilton BOCES statement in support of raising the legal sale age for tobacco products in the North Country to 21 years of age. Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
Yes.
Is there a second?
A second.
Thanks, Tammy. Is there discussion? If not, let's please vote.
Once it was a yes, but it was an error.
I'm not getting,
It
I'm not,
does not president vote for everyone. So does everybody vote? So weird.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 5-4-0 against.
We never had this.
Never
problem.
Never. But it's been acting funny this week. I struggled with it this week.
This is really.
The wet weather. The next action item is, this is the intermunicipal agreement, right? That we're approving?
Yeah.
Is
For the
that
capital
correct?
project.
For the BOCES capital
Right.
project, yes. So, the proposed action reads, approve the attached resolution regarding the joint agreement with the Board of Cooperative Education Services, Sole Supervisory School District, Franklin, Essex, Hamilton Counties, BOCES. Is there a motion to approve this agreement?
Yes.
Thanks, Pat. And second?
Yes.
Patty. Some discussion?
So we still don't know how everyone else is gonna vote on this. Do we all vote the same night or the same week, or how do we know?
Some districts already have voted, so,
Do we just wait till they
Just
tell
wait
us
till
if
they
it's
tell us.
all in, or if it's,
yeah, if there's somebody that's voted no.
thank you.
Let's see an all or nothing?
Yeah.
Oh, Mary,
Which is voted.
it says I'm
Yes,
present.
okay, yes, I vote yes.
Tammy.
I am here.
Yeah, I voted yes.
And Pat.
Motion carries 5-4-0. Right, the football merger. Next one, proposed resolution reads, be it resolved that the Lake Placid Central School approves the football modified through varsity with Saranac Lake Central School for a period of 1 year effective for the 2017-2018 school year. Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
I'll move.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Pat, is there discussion?
Simple, thank you. I think it's a great addition.
Yeah, I do. Good opportunity for kids. Some kids, yeah, good. So please vote. Okay, motion carries 5-4-0 against.
Now that it's gone through, how is the information gonna get out to the students?
Probably through the athletic program, but I'll let you know, students already know,
Okay.
and they're awaiting this.
Okay.
A lot of students have, been talking about it, and they've, sort of, some of them have made a point of coming to talk to me about it,
Okay.
but many of them have already talked with the athletic director about it.
Then the girls hockey merger. The resolution reads, be it resolved that the Lake Placid Central School approves the girls hockey merger with Saranac Lake Central School for a period of 1 year effective for the 2017-2018 school year. This will be a merged identity with the Lake Placid and Saranac Lake with cost to be split between the school districts. Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
Yes.
Thanks, Patty. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Rick. For discussion?
Will the Tupper Lake, that'll be a secondary? Or have we already approved that?
So, do you mean with the Tupper Lake, sorry,
We'll have to do that till
Yeah.
Okay,
But
because
we'll have to-
we've done that in the past.
But we'll have to approve that too.
Correct.
In July.
In July.
Yeah.
So, no.
And is that one with Keene as well, or no?
The boys,
No, it's been with Sable.
I say, correct, okay.
wasn't there a boy from Keene that was on?
That was
That
North.
was this year, the boys,
On the boys hockey team.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, going forward, it will be able to be flexible enough to include, like in the past, we have had girls on the hockey team from Keene, or is it just something we'll handle as the situation comes up?
It would require us to approve another merger.
Another merger, right, gotcha.
Resolution.
Okay.
So, please vote. Motion carries 5-4-0 again. And then finally, we have the special education placements. Proposed action reads, be it resolved, the Board of Education, Lake Placid Central School District hereby approves the ranges for the special education placements, classification, and related services as recommended by the Committee on Special Education and/or the Preschool Committee on Special Education for the 2016, 2017, and 2017, 2018 school years. Is there a motion to approve these placements?
I'll move.
Tammy. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Pat? Are there any questions?
Transportation to Saranac Lake, can that coordinate with, like, BOCES or
We don't transport the pre-K students.
Okay.
It's done through the county.
the county?
The county, funds and arranges for all
Great,
that.
thank you.
While we're voting, are there any questions on the packet for us to consider at the next meeting? Next motion carries 5-0 against. Moves us to our adjournment phase. Just a reminder, the next meeting officially is a board retreat this Thursday, the 9th, from 9 to 1 o'clock here. The 8th, yeah, yes, Friday is the 9th, the 8th. Thank you. The next regular board meeting is Tuesday the 20th at 6:30, and that's here. Old agenda topics? Don't have anything?
The last one in the minutes, it talked about that we spoke email. And
About the bus?
no, not the bus, the senior privileges parent.
Did we come to I didn't respond. I didn't know that, I didn't.
I thought
feel like
that,
we had come to a
we
resolution.
discussed it and it was decided that there would be a response.
I think so.
That it was said that, I guess we can review the tape. But I'd like to close that circle.
Okay, I remember that we've done that.
I think it's that we didn't know, we weren't aware of what response was given. I'm not quite sure how that went.
We can check. It was said that we were gonna, send back a note acknowledging that it was sent.
Well, I'm not sure everybody was in agreement with that.
You had said you would be comfortable with that, and that's.
No, I don't think I said I was comfortable with that. I think I said that we can respond to that again, but I guess my point is that we were copied that as information, that email came to somebody else, that we were included as copies, so it was like, it was information for us. And to me, that doesn't warrant a response, I don't know.
So if we can put that on for the next meeting under discussions with the board then, I think I want clarity on that.
On that specific case or
On,
the response?
on when we as a board are contacted with information, how we will respond.
Let's look at, because I thought we had that.
And then again in this particular, so.
There's 2 meetings to go on.
Yeah.
So.
Right. We'll put it on as discussion. New agenda topic?
That was at the beginning, right?
No, that's all, we discussed that before. Is there a motion then to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? 5-4-0 against. Not so bad.
No.
Very good.
Well, thank you all. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
You're having to shut her down.
Yeah.